morning. Good morning, good morning. All right, just a few minutes this morning. Just a few minutes to go through a daily message with you guys. And as I mentioned yesterday, hopefully I'm on here later, I actually finished the transcription for 2nd Chronicles. So later today, we can go ahead and make that happen. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's go ahead and begin with our daily message from the Qur'an. Let's begin. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Okay. All right, we have a tricky one today. Evil. Surah 26. Surah 26. And this is from Ash-Shu'ara, which is the poets. Ash-Shu'ara. And this is really at the very end of this surah where it gives the summation. Oh, I take that back. This surah is actually very, very long. I would say it's on the within the last quarter. Okay. This is line 95, line 94, and line 95. 94, line 95. Okay, all right. And before I went ahead and read this, opened and read to you guys, I definitely did a dua before, which is just a short prayer, asking God to use my lips, use my mouth to go ahead and say whatever He would like to say and what He would like to mention. Putting that as a caveat in here, but it is important. And then of course we get something a little bit intense. Okay, so line 94 reads, "Then they will be thrown headlong into the fire, they and those straying in evil, and the whole hosts of Iblis together." Okay, so I feel like we read, if not this particular line, we read something fairly similar. Although this Ash-Shu'ara, this surah is sounding a bit similar as well from what we've read in the past. Okay. They will be and remember we talked about if you want to become very strong in your faith and really very close to the Lord and transformed, the Quran is what you should read, because it does put the fear in you. So this is what the purpose is of this verse here, in these few verses, putting in that fear. I think it is necessary in order to go ahead and transform. Very, very necessary. We cannot become anew without the pressure. We cannot become changed without the risk that is involved if we do not change. We're talking about the whole hosts of Iblis together, along with who else? It just says, "And to those straying in evil," asking, "Where are the gods ye worshipped besides Allah? Can they help you or help themselves?" Then they will be thrown headlong into the fire, those straying in evil, and the and as we remember, Iblis is Shaitan, or the devil, or the fallen angel, I should say. Okay. Iblis together. this morning, how I guess this makes sense, right? Ian is watching a documentary on the WWE because it was something that was familiar to him. Is that the wrestling WWE? It was something that was familiar to him growing up, right? He grew up in that era where that was very popular for young kids and young children. We've talked about this as well. While we may not worship idols or other gods specifically, right? Things, things that are man-made, right? Like when you think about idol worship or worship of other gods, unknown gods, people had to create something. They had to create an idol. They had to mold something of their fashion to go ahead and worship towards. So what is the modern day version? And excuse me, having a race in the house right now. What is the modern day fashion of that? Would be our man-made models or idols that we would look towards today. So that was a great example. It was the show, the entertainment of the WWE was very aggressive, very violent, very evil. I would just put it as that. Evil, is very dramatic, not pleasing towards women, raunchy, nasty, that sort of thing. So we have to be very, very careful on these man-made idols that we go ahead and build up and we promote and we praise, if you will. I mean, these shows had live audiences, stadiums full, cheering, holding signs, being very, very emotional, right? And we can argue that that's not worship. That is actually the opposite of worship. And that is kind of the point that it's making here as well. Because these people did worship these statues, these other gods, these things that they created for themselves. So that's kind of how that translates to today. We have these idols, celebrities, things that we create or the industry creates for us to go ahead and look up to or look towards or spend our free time with, to be entertained by, that sort of thing. So I know there's other modes of this that exist today, but I would say our devotion to entertainment is the largest one. I'll just put this in here. Taking a look. And that's really all that we claim to see these things as, is entertainment. It's just something to pass the time. It's something that's interesting to take part in, to look at. But remember, we discussed too, it's the proportion of time that is spent towards those things or on those things that can become the issue. If that portion of time surpasses that of our devotion to the Lord, our devotion to this, our study of our faith, then that's something to go ahead and observe and take a closer look at and be aware of. But yeah, this is a very scary 2 lines, I would say. Very scary 2 lines. Things can be disguised as normal and okay and safe. That is the danger of them. That is the danger. And I don't like to be the one to bear the bad news, but this is, in fact, bad news. This is, in fact, the bad news. They will say there in their mutual bickerings, by Allah, we were truly error in manifest, when we held you as equals with the Lord of the worlds, and our seducers were only those who were steeped in guilt. Now then, we have none to intercede for us, not a single friend to feel for us. Now if we only have a chance of return, we shall truly be of those who believe. Verily, in this is a sign, but most of them do not believe. And verily, thy Lord is he Be exalted in might, most merciful. Abraham's story. So, of course, we look at the Qur'an, we read it, we're very familiar with the prophets and people of the past, and we want to try our best to apply these lessons today. That's why we bring in the modern day examples. We try and we hope that it remains relevant as we read today, even though if it's a bit of a stretch, even though if it's hard to connect the dots. We want to try to keep this close to our hearts, just as important as it would have been written during the time, just as important as, it happened in the moment, right? Think about the tales that this is talking about. Of course, some of this is from Abraham's story, the idol worship around his time. So thinking about how important the observation of these events was at that moment, at that time, that's what we want to carry with us even today and even now. So that's what our goal and our purpose is when we read from the Quran and the Bible. Of course, we're taking the lessons and seeing how we can carry that emotion and carry the relevance and the importance with us presently. So God bless you guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll catch you later.